A teen is convicted of homicide in the death of a prison guard. 17-year-old Javarius Hurd pleaded not guilty today in the June 2024 death of Corey Prue at the Lincoln Hills Youth Prison. However, Hurd contends he is not responsible for his actions due to mental illness. Hurd, who was 16 at the time of the incident, punched Prue multiple times, causing the guard to fall and hit his head on concrete. Prue later died from his injuries. A February trial will determine if he will be sentenced to prison or committed to a mental institution. Hurd's attorney says his client has a life filled with trauma and suffering.